Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend. Hey, baby, how you doing over there?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Oh, really, really good. I got a lot of fun, exciting stories to share today. And we've got a second scoop, of course, since it is a Saturday. And we've got this story to start with. Peru's government says it's high time Peruvians were on time. Chronic lateness in Peru is often overlooked as an endearing cultural trait, with weddings and funerals and business meetings hardly ever starting on time. It's even considered rude to be on time for a party. But government officials say that it's time that all comes to a crashing halt, and they say we need to change our attitude and start being on time for things. I think I'm going to move to Peru. I would fit right in there. I'm usually 5 minutes late for just about everything. As a matter of fact, when I die someday, I want my pallbearers to drag me in after you start the funeral.
Yeah.
Because that would be good. Hey, one other story quick. Scientists at Oxford University's Imperial Cancer Research Foundation Fund found people who eat fresh fruit daily have a 24% fewer chances of heart attacks and 32% fewer strokes. So saying if you eat fresh fruit every day, fewer heart attacks and strokes. That's pretty good.
I don't do that.
If you're into
I probably
fresh fruit,
should.
that's really good. We should. Coming up, we'll tell you the special things happening this weekend. That's all on the way.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. It's Saturday, May the 14th. Today is American Indian Day. It's Armed Forces Day, Bereaved Mother's Day. It is Cornelia de Lang Syndrome Awareness Day, International Migratory Bird Day, Letter Carriers Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive Day, Morel Mushroom Day, National Archery Day, National Chicken Dance Day, National Mini Golf Day, National Train Day, National Windmill Day, Spring Astrology Day, Stay Up All Night Day. That doesn't make sense.
Holy cow.
Stay Up All Night. Anyway, Stars and Stripes Forever Day, Underground America Day, World Belly Dance Day, and World Fair Trade Day.
That's a busy day.
Now, we still have Sunday. Tomorrow is Bay to Breakers Raced, which is the oldest foot race in America Day. It is Hypermeus Gravadium Awareness Day. I don't know what that is. I'm going to say it really fast and pretend like I might have said it right. International Day of Families, National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day, International MPS Awareness Day, National Sliders Day, National Tuberculosis Scoliosis Day, Nylon Stockings Day, Peace Officer Memorial Day, and Sunday is Straw Hat Day.
Why do all these things need a day?
Well, because if they didn't have a day, they would be really sad. There you go. Get out there and celebrate this weekend doing something fun with a straw hat while you're eating chocolate and playing miniature golf. There you go.
Do you like fun t-shirts? Our friends at 80s Tees have a bunch of fun designs from the movies and pop culture. This month, we're giving you a chance to win a $25 credit to buy the t-shirt you like, with designs from Star Wars, Superman, Ghostbusters, Deadpool, and hundreds of others. Sign up to win a $25 credit. Register for free right now at winthisonline.com. We will select 2 winners at the end of this month. You could be one of them, but only if you register at winthisonline.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. What is the longest you were ever sentenced to detention in school, Heidi?
I never really got detention.
You didn't?
No.
I assumed you lived there. I just know you too well. I was in detention.
I have way too sweet of a face.
I was in detention quite a bit because I don't have a sweet face. As a matter of fact, I look like... If you ever watched The Goonies, remember the guy that was chained up in the basement?
Oh, yeah.
I look like him with a little better hair. Not much better. Anyway, this guy got detention for 25 years.
What?
2005, the Weekly World News reported, so you know it's true, Fort Wayne, Indiana, a boy who got caught pulling a cruel prank in high school finally completed his 25 years of detention. In 1980, Jerry Finkel received a harsh sentence from a fed-up teacher. He says, "I deserved it," the 42-year-old Finkel agreed. He's been showing up at his old high school every day at 3 p.m. and staying for 2 hours of detention. Finkel, who now works as an accountant, was not legally obligated to finish his detention, but he chose to do it anyway. He says, "I just felt like it was the right thing to do.
There's no way.
I did a lot of bad things in high school, and this was my way of making up for it," according to Finkel. Again, 25 years of detention.
I don't think so.
And it was from 1980 until 2005. Now, you know it's true because that was from the Weekly World News, Heidi.
Yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't possibly tell us a fib, would they?
I think they would in this case, yes.
Yeah, probably, because I cannot imagine a 42-year-old accountant going, "Oh, I gotta leave at 3. Why? I'm heading to detention again." I just don't know. All I know is it must be true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. Some people will drink anything. A British woman accused of downing prescription drugs, 2 or 3 bottles of wine, and liquid soap from a London-bound jetliner's lavatory was then scuffling with flight attendants, and now she's in jail in Maine. Prosecutors say Galina Rusanova punched and kicked attendants on the Chicago-based United Airlines flight. They say she, quote, snapped like a dog. What does that mean? Like, oh, trying to bite one. Snapped like a dog trying to bite one of the... What? FBI says the Russia-born London resident has gone to Los Angeles to visit a man that she met over the internet and was returning, and her flight had to be diverted to Bangor, Maine, so they could get her off the flight. Again, she was drinking, first of all, 2 or 3 bottles of wine, downed a bunch of prescription drugs, and then was even drinking liquid soap from the lavatory on the airplane.
Yikes.
She was not having a good day. When you're doing all of that, you might be having a rough day. But kids, that's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
We might have found the laziest man in the world, Heidi.
Alrighty.
So lazy, he painted over a dead rat in his restaurant instead of picking it up. Theo Morris. He's got a cafe in Brisbane, Australia. He was fined $20,000 by health inspectors. They were in there doing a health inspection, and they said, "What is this?" He goes, "Oh, it's a dead rat." Acting on a tip, one of his grossed out staff decided, I'm turning this dude in. Food inspectors discovered a dead rodent stuck to the floor and covered in red paint in the main dining area of the restaurant even.
Oh my gosh!
Our furry friend was just the beginning. There were also giant fungus growing there, other rodents, both dead and alive, cockroaches, and untouched food being rescued from garbage cans before being reserved.
Oh!
So don't ever go to Brisbane, Australia and expect to have a delicious meal from this guy's place.
That's awful.
The guy's name was Theo Morris. So if you do happen to be going to Brisbane, Australia, just say, Theo Morris doesn't own this place, does he?
Man.
I just wanted to make sure. All right, we have your scoop of the day on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. A woman was arrested and a man was taken to the hospital after a fight broke out at a funeral. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina funeral home. And here's why they got into a big fight. The disagreement was over the family's funeral arrangements. This is one more reason for pre-planning.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was a fight. The police had to come. I mean, that's not good. That's really bad. Customs officers at an airport in Japan stopped a guy and demanded to look at his shoes. For some weird reason, the guy, about 5.5 feet tall, was wearing suspiciously large shoes. Inside each shoe, they found giant packets of heroin.
Oh.
So he looked like a clown, a little short guy with these gigantic shoes. Yeah, he was trying to transport some drugs in his feet. Not a good idea. Hey, the British government was left a little red-faced, Heidi. They unveiled a test for immigrants, but misspelled the word language. In the announcement, they spelled language with the U and the A swapped around. So, yeah, that's not good. Police in Russia were called on Sunday night after residents reported a man had fired off a gun in his backyard. When officers arrived, they found a very drunk man with a shotgun hidden behind the sofa. They questioned him about why he fired the weapon, and he said, "I was just mad because of my children and my marriage and my
We talked
job."
about
As
this,
it
John.
says, and my favorite TV show. So why in the world is that in here again?
I don't know. I think we need a different prep service.
I'm going to just close that because that's not good. How about
This
one?
happens every day.
No, it's not every day.
Every
It's like
day.
Every third or fourth day. Walmart is reviving their greeter program, which they ended 4 years ago. Here's the thing I have to admit. I didn't even know they ended it.
No, we've still got greeters.
Do we? Or do we just
Yeah.
have people that are bored hanging out by the door?
No, in the smock.
I don't know. This is sitting there, and I'm going to put this thing on and say hello to people when they walk by. According to the story, they got rid of it 4 years ago. So,
not in our area. They didn't.
Apparently not. Hey, a recent study says if you eat a high-fat meal, you can actually reverse the potential damage caused by exercising. Wait, let me read that again. I think I read that wrong. A recent study says if you...
I like the way you read it.
I
better.
liked it better, too, but I'm sure that had to be wrong. A recent study says if you eat a high-fat meal, you can actually reverse the potential damage by exercising.
There you go.
It's not eat the high-fat meal to reverse the damage from exercise. You can reverse the damage with exercise. That's a completely different story then, isn't it?
Yes,
I like my
most
version
definitely.
better. Hey, a recent website survey from eHarmony reveals that men who use the dating website are uninterested in women whose hobbies include using the computer, volunteering, reading, watching TV, and going to the movies. In short, men hate women whose hobbies include anything other than, hey, I'm in the mood to get busy with you. I think. I don't know. It doesn't quite say that. What are the other hobbies? Doesn't that cover just about everything?
That's pretty much all the hobbies.
I guess it doesn't say anything about racquetball. Maybe they're looking for women who like racquetball. All I know is reading, watching TV, going on the computer, and going to movies. That's out, according to eHarmony. Recent study seems to indicate that attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is genetic, and that children with ADHD are twice as likely to have missing chromosomes than normal children. So, is that something that we have in our household? What is the thing that I have? It's not ADHD, is it? Don't I have just
so.
ADD? I don't know. I got some of those. The one that I have, I think, is different than the one that some other people have. Because there's some people, they have this thing where, they're very productive and they get a lot of things done. Mine's the opposite of that, whatever that one is. That's the one I have. I don't get nothing done. Hey, time for a strange law. It is illegal to take a lion to the movies in Baltimore, Maryland.
Well,
That's not
I
very
would
nice.
think that should be illegal everywhere.
But if you want to take your lion to the movie, you're going to have to do it somewhere other than Baltimore, apparently. Bunch of buzzkills in Baltimore. That's your strange law. This has been your scoop of the day. Don't worry, we got another scoop on the way.
Do you like fun t-shirts? Our friends at 80s Tees have a bunch of fun designs from the movies and pop culture. This month, we're giving you a chance to win a $25 credit to buy the t-shirt you like. With designs from Star Wars, Superman, Ghostbusters, Deadpool, and hundreds of others. Sign up to win a $25 credit. Register for free right now at winthisonline.com. We will select 2 winners at the end of this month. You could be one of them, but only if you register at winthisonline.com.
Now, your second scoop of the day. A man from Sweden is in custody for suspicion of theft, Heidi.
Okay.
This interesting story is really interesting because of how the guy was caught. He tried to reclaim a bag police found on a bus. The bag contained a sawed-off shotgun and a mask.
Oh.
Police don't understand why the guy thought
He
that
tried to reclaim.
they didn't. He thought maybe they hadn't looked in the bag. I left a bag on the bus. What was in the bag? Well, there was some stuff in there. It was my personal stuff. I hope you didn't look at it, because if you did, you're probably not happy with me. He was a man from Sweden. Now he's a man in custody. Hey, a disgruntled 51-year-old Pleasant Prairie man recently arrested in a case of vandalism at his boss's house probably could have found a better way, or at least a better getaway vehicle, than his work truck. Yeah, the upset worker is accused of pouring 10 pounds of roofing tar on his boss's porch late one morning before driving away. Again, in his work truck. Wasn't too hard to track down. Police said all they had to do is use the GPS system in the employer's truck, because the guy whose porch he poured the tar on owns the truck. So, not the smartest dude right there. 2 teens are under arrest after a click of a computer mouse led police right to them. The 2 allegedly burglarized a home in Illinois. Then they created a website and posted pictures of their ill-gotten goods in an attempt to sell them. Police, operating on a tip, visited the site and showed it to the burglary victim, who said, yeah, that's my stuff. $20,000 worth of electronics and computer equipment. Police knew how to find the burglars because they had all their contact info right there on the website.
That's smart.
Yeah, well, you got to make sure you got a way for people to get a hold of you. You're trying to fence all this stuff, you know.
Of course.
Moving on with our second scoop. If you fall asleep working, most of the time you'll get in trouble, maybe even fired. But a man working in Madrid was arrested after he fell asleep on the job. His job was stealing. The guy was a burglar. He broke into a medical
That
clinic.
happens a lot.
And a couple of buzz saws is what he used to get in. He was in the process of breaking open a large locked metal box. And he spied a nice cushioned ergonomic chair. Before finishing the job, he thought, I'm going to test out this chair. It was so comfy cozy that he fell asleep. He woke the next morning to the sound of police coming in to arrest him.
That happens a lot.
Instead of spending the money on a burglar alarm.
Don't you think your adrenaline would be too high during
think so.
an act like that to fall asleep?
See, I don't know. I don't know how that works. Hey, something that we should have talked about like a week ago. For the greatest show on earth, there's no longer an elephant in the room. I think this happened a week ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago now. The 145-year-old Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus held their final show featuring elephants on Sunday. And I think it was last Sunday, or maybe even the Sunday before that. Ringling announced their plans last spring, saying it's sending all of their Asian elephants to live on the company's Florida Nature Reserve. The original plan called for phasing out elephant roles in the circus by 2018, but in January, Ringling's parent company, Feld Entertainment, said they were moving up the timetable. The decision came early after years of growing public concern for the elephants' well-being. And I remember you and I had a little story about this. It's been a little while back now. But when we had the story, Heidi was saying, that's the best part of it.
elephants.
I love elephants. And then we had some lady
Somebody
that was
lost her mind.
She went bonkers on this deal and went to some website and said that John and Heidi said they want to torture
and we were
elephants.
getting death threats. This lady was insane.
It went kind of
nuts.
overboard. So anyway, I just want to make sure that we understand we don't want elephants to be tortured. Heidi was saying she loves
I just like to watch the elephants.
And she would go to the zoo, not the zoo. What's that other thing
Circus.
called? The circus. She would go to the circus and she would enjoy seeing the elephants.
Yes, that's all I said.
So
this
that's what
lady
she was
lost
saying.
her mind. She needs to be locked up.
How do you really feel, Heidi?
That's how I feel.
I just want to make sure, because, there's a lot of gray area in what you're saying right now. Wowzers. Moving right along. One armed driver involved in a fender bender was detained after police in China found that not only was he unlicensed, but he was also using his hand, one that he has, to talk on the phone. So he only has one hand. The other one's gone.
Yeah, nice.
And
So he wasn't using anything to drive.
So he was driving down the road with, and he was in an accident.
Imagine that.
His one hand that he has left was on a phone instead of on the wheel. So
Takes all kinds.
yeah, I've got a fun video here I'm going to share. By the way, I shared the story about the elephants. That's on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And you can see this video. John Stamos was confused for Rob Lowe while he was on vacation. Did you hear about this?
No.
This happened about a week ago, I think, is when this was posted. While on vacation, John Stamos was mistaken by a fan for another famous actor. They thought he was Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe is way better looking, so that was actually quite a compliment.
The Fuller House and Grandfathered star shared the hilarious experience on Instagram Thursday of last week with the caption, awkward vacation moments. And he tagged Rob Lowe. And you can see the info if you go to facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Red Connors was Hopalong Cassidy's sidekick. Did you know that?
Okay.
Do you know
no.
who Hopalong Cassidy
No.
is? All right, moving right along. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A McDonald's Big Mac contains 3 pieces of bun. Many
Yeah, I
only
knew
have
that.
2. There's like a bun in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Most American car horns are tooted in the key of what?
I don't know.
The key of F.
All right.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Mickey Mouse received 800,000 fan letters in 1933.
Wow.
Yeah, 800,000. That's before Twitter, kids. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Rodney Dangerfield started out with a career as a paint salesman, but he went into show business instead. I'm really glad that he did. I liked Rodney
Me too.
Dangerfield.
I did too.
He was one of my
a good guy.
favorites. Can you imagine him selling you some paint?
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'd buy my paint from him.
Well, not anymore because he's no longer with us. But I think that would have been really cool. So it's like, get the white paint. It gets no respect. No respect. Probably didn't do a good job there. Hey, coming up, we've got your hairstyle determines your career. This could be good news or bad news for Donald Trump, but the story is on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by RadioReallyWorks.com. I know you're listening to a podcast, but did you know the John and Heidi Show is also a radio show? And for those of you who have businesses, you should consider using radio to advertise your business. We can even help you create some catchy little jingles or amazing radio ads that'll help pull people in. Get all the details or just learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend. A headline says, your hairstyle determines your career. First of all, let's stop right there. Do you think that your hairstyle could determine your career?
Oh, I think if you have a bad hairstyle, that you might not get a job that you are looking for. Yeah, absolutely.
Forget your college degrees and your professional training. Just make sure you have the right hairstyle. According to a new survey from the fine folks at Burl Cream, I didn't even know they were still around.
I didn't either.
A person's choice of hairstyle may have the greatest influence on their career. Burl Cream found that mullets were still a popular hairstyle for those whose profession doesn't require a lot of public interactions, like construction workers, truck drivers, even radio DJs. Wait a minute. What are you saying about my mullet? Guys with cropped hair or shaved heads were far more likely to be employed in manual labor jobs than those with longer hair. Entrepreneurs had the most individual hairstyles, which often varied and followed no apparent trend. Examples are Bill Gates sporting a traditional short sides, parted style, while Donald Trump has a massive flip-back mane and whatever that thing is on top that nobody can figure out. Lino Casbiero, that is the style director from Burl Cream, says, it's interesting because we think we're all individual and that our hair and our clothing is a result of our personal preferences, when in fact it seems we're all very influenced by our workplace and our coworkers, although I'm sure many of us would not like to admit that. So they're saying, even if you're saying, oh, that doesn't affect me, chances are it probably does. So if you are a banker, I double dog dare you to get a mohawk over the weekend and go in on Monday and see if you're still a banker on Tuesday.
That won't go over well.
You never know. I suppose it depends on the bank.
No,
Could be
don't do that. Do not take John's advice and do that.
Some cutting edge bank. All of our bankers are awesome. Even Spike, the guy over here with the mohawk. I do understand what they're saying. You know, sometimes you tend to have a certain job because of the way you dress and the way you act, but I don't know. I don't know if I agree with it. And they even said in there that they didn't think that I would, so they were right. Coming up here in a bit, we've got another fun story from Ohio. We'll get to that before you know it.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
Lori Ralston from Amherst, Ohio, sent an application to work for the Amherst Police Department, but it wasn't her resume that got the attention. It was a record. After she applied for the job as a dispatcher, police did a little background check.
Oh, man.
Found that she had 17 traffic convictions, including 7 speeding tickets, 2 citations for driving with no license. She was called back for what she thought was going to be an interview. Instead, she was busted and charged because she failed to appear in court, and she drove there without a license.
What did she think was going to happen? She also didn't think that applying for a job like that, they would do a background check?
It says here, Ralston says she had absolutely no idea that she was wanted. She's like, I had no clue.
And she had no clue. She didn't have a license either?
Oh, I didn't even know I didn't have a license. I have something in my wallet. What's that? A coupon for McDonald's? Well, I thought that was a driver's license.
Wow.
Oh, by God.
Interesting.
All right, coming up, we've got full contact golf. We'll tell you about that in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Sports seems to be getting more and more violent as time goes on, doesn't it? Wrestling, hockey, football, now the violence has turned to the very relaxing game of golf. A golfer's been arrested after starting a fight on a golf course in Florida over, believe it or not, a lost ball. Robert Jacobs has been charged with battery after being accused of scrapping on the fairway with Robert Borkowski. So Robert Jacobs and Robert Borkowski. Jacobs claims Borkowski deliberately kicked his ball into the lake. He went to get a new ball from Mr. Borkowski's bag, and the two started fighting. Because of the incident, Mr. Jacobs had to spend some time in jail, but was released on bail. Mr. Jacobs says, it probably sounds kind of funny. If I open up the paper and read about this, I'd probably have a laugh too, but it did happen to me. So he's saying, I'm sure it sounds ridiculous, but at the time I thought I was justified kicking his ball in the lake because apparently he got too close to him. And then the other guy thought he was justified going after one of the other guy's balls because, hey, you kicked my ball in the lake. Turned into a little scuffle.
Oh, goodness.
That's what happens when you kick another man's ball on the golf course. It's not good. Coming up, that whole apple a day thing might be wrong, but chocoholics? Oh, good news.
Do you like fun t-shirts? Our friends at 80s Tees have a bunch of fun designs from the movies and pop culture. This month, we're giving you a chance to win a $25 credit to buy the t-shirt you like. With designs from Star Wars, Superman, Ghostbusters, Deadpool, and hundreds of others. Sign up to win a $25 credit. Register for free right now at winthisonline.com. We will select 2 winners at the end of this month. You could be one of them, but only if you register at winthisonline.com.
When I was a kid, they used to say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Remember that?
Yes.
Do you believe that stuff?
I mean, we already read another story earlier today that says if you eat
fresh fruit every day, better chance.
And if you eat fruit, or no, if you exercise after a heavy meal, huh?
There you go. So now let's just reverse all of that and talk about chocolate. Forget the whole apple a day mumbo jumbo. Chocoholics can rejoice. A new Hershey bar a day could keep the doctor away. Eating chocolate might one day fend off tooth cavities and thwart dental decay.
Really?
Researchers in Japan, they say they found that parts of the cocoa bean, specifically the bean husk, which is the main ingredient of chocolate, fights mouth bacteria. The bacteria leads to cavities. The CBH, cocoa bean husk, usually is thrown out, and it goes to waste. But researchers at the Osaka University suggest the bean husk could be put back into the chocolate to make it better for your teeth. It could also be used in toothpastes and mouthwashes. The Japanese researchers found that rats that had CBH added to their water had healthier teeth. Now they plan to test the findings on human teeth. And someday we might be able to have smiles that are brighter, all because of a candy bar a day. I could go for that.
That'd be great.
It's probably not going to happen in our lifetime because that sounds fun. But I'm just saying, the whole apple a day thing, I probably have to stick to that. So would you think that you'd like brushing your teeth with a chocolate-flavored toothpaste?
No, I wouldn't use a chocolate-flavored toothpaste.
I think it'd be kind of cool.
But I would eat chocolate and then go brush my teeth.
If I could just squirt a whole tube of chocolate, like a really big tube of chocolate, squirt the whole thing in my mouth while I'm brushing my teeth, and then you'd be able to swallow it. The toothpaste most people use, you can't swallow it or it could kill you. Look on your toothpaste and see. I'm not even kidding. It's poisonous. It says if you swallow too much of this, call poison control. I'm all for this chocolate stuff. I think that sounds like a good plan. All right, we do have some good news to share. That is on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I got a couple of stories here that are of biblical proportion, Heidi.
All right.
Some craft brewers. That's the big thing now, craft beer. Some craft brewers in
for craft beer.
Jerusalem claimed that they just made a beer that is exactly the same as the kind that was consumed by beer drinkers back when Jesus was here.
Of course they did. How on earth would they prove that?
They found a can from back then, I think.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't have cans. Herzl Brewery used a wheat strain that Tel Aviv University geneticists say was used to make beer 2,000 years ago. As for the taste, the paper says there's a hint of honey and berries, despite only using the grains of the brewing process. However, there's some bad news for beer fans looking for their own taste of the New Testament brew. The brew only made one batch, and it's almost gone. So unless, of course, they can get Jesus to multiply that, you probably don't have a good chance of getting any.
Jesus preferred wine.
Yeah, he did. But there you go. There's the brew from back in the day. Now, again, another story here quick. And again, like I said, they're both of biblical proportions because this is a bird watcher in northern Israel found a beautifully preserved Egyptian scarab near the northern port city of Hafia. According to CBN News, professors say the scarab belonged to an Egyptian official who enjoyed a similar position to the biblical Joseph. The 35,000-year-old artifact, she said, belonged to a senior official of the dynasty that ruled Egypt during the 17th and 18th centuries BC. Excavations at the site will resume in July, which will open to volunteers. So if you'd like to take part in that dig in Israel, I'll throw the info on our page. Would you like to be a part of an excavation with stuff like that, Heidi?
Nah.
I don't think I would either. Because knowing my luck, I'd be digging on stuff and I'd break something.
I'd break
something,
oh, no.
and
then I'd be in trouble.
You just broke that. You're going to be arrested and thrown in jail for 900 years. All right, that's going to do it for our good news. Again, if you want to see those stories and get all the details, you can find those at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
And our bonus break is brought to you by WinThisOnline.com. Gave away some cool stuff this week, and I would love to give you something as well. If you go to the website, WinThisOnline.com, you can sign up for a lot of awesome stuff. We've got some Zubas. Remember those things? Mm-hmm. You can win a credit at Zubas.com. We also have some really cool things from 80stees.com and many other things as well, all at the website, WinThisOnline.com. Here are 5 things that healthy couples do when they fight from Relevant Magazine. Let's see if we're healthy, Heidi.
All righty.
First of all, when we fight, do we take a minute? All the bad stuff happens when you get too upset. So they say, hey, just take a minute.
No.
We don't. Next, do we recognize context? We get upset about something. Do we get upset about everything, or do we recognize the context?
Oh, we get upset about everything.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, and another thing, why did you throw your underwear on the floor? What? How did that have anything to do with this? We were fighting about something completely different. Again, healthy couples also assume the best. I think sometimes we assume the worst. Usually we come around to assuming the best. Another thing that healthy couples do, according to Relevant Magazine, they swallow the bitter pill when they're the one who messed up. I get to do that, but I don't think you have ever done that.
I've done that. I just didn't enjoy it, so I didn't do it again.
I've had to
since.
do that before, where I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I know I blamed you for that.
And it's just that you mess up more often is all.
Sure. Let's go with that. And then the last thing on the list here, 5 things healthy couples do when they fight from Relevant Magazine. Look past the surface and address the deeper issue.
There you
I
go.
ask you all the time when you're mad at me, I'm like, what's wrong? You're like, you know what's wrong. I'm like, no,
Yes,
but what's
you
really
know
wrong?
what's wrong.
What's really wrong, though? What's really, really wrong? I know all those things we're just talking about, but does it have something else to do? Is there another thing going on? Because you seem awfully mad right now. I'll throw that tip on our Facebook page as well. Boy, I got a lot of stuff on there today. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And if you go there, you're going to see a link to WinThisOnline.com, and that is the place where you can go to register for all kinds of awesome stuff. They're also the sponsor of our bonus break. The website, once again, WinThisOnline.com.